Reminder note, the ego isn't actually a thing. It is a concept to simplify the concept of decision and self and identity. It helps shorten a lot of concepts is all. So this is a bit of a surprise. I wasn't planning on doing this video next, but the last video felt, incomplete, I guess. The question is, what is the connection between our ego and emotions? What does that actually look like? Well, we have to start somewhere, and it starts in our instinctual layers. Here lies our core emotions, and therefore our ego. So, think about when you are hungry. Your stomach growls, you get a little lightheaded, and you might start getting upset. Then you eat food, and all of a sudden, you feel this pleasurable sensation, and all of these annoyances go away. Something similar happens when you lack sleep. You get tired, and you start possibly getting headaches. For me personally, my sinuses start acting up a lot. But then, you get some sleep, and afterwards, the pain goes away. You might notice something here. In the deep instinctual levels, we have a virus and bacteria. At these levels, there isn't a conscious thought process or emotional sensation to actually verify things. It works like an automated program that has a singular goal, survival. To make this bacterial program work is for it to recognize two very basic, very fundamental concepts. When something works and when something doesn't. If it works, you repeat the process. If it doesn't work, you do something else. Biology just has thousands upon thousands of years of recursive memory to make these systems work so it doesn't have to repeat itself every time and build on it every time. I digress a little. This core process is the core unit of how our emotions work as well. We don't lose this instinctual process as we go upwards towards our conscious thoughts. Translated into a way we can communicate emotionally, we have two core emotions: pleasure, things that we want, and pain, things that we want to avoid. Every emotion we've learned to articulate in the conscious layer is just a weird amalgamation of these two emotions combining in a strange and in awkward ways. If we go back to this example of me trying to convince you that this color is blue, your desire to attach and maintain this meaning to that meaning is formed by a micro-sensation of pleasure. The brain likes keeping this one point together with this one point, while the resistance to change to new paradigm and the presence of new information, that is a micro-sensation of pain. This creates a comfort zone where it's safe inside and a wall of pain to prevent you from actually leaving. This color is blue. Are you going to say this color is blue? No, it's weird and annoying. Congratulations! When you have felt these two emotions simultaneously, you have created an egoic response. The combination of these two emotions will often translate to, I don't want to change. It is safe here. Different is painful. This sentence, in many different forms, when we hit our conscious thoughts, can translate to, I am the best because my world is more important than the outside world. Congratulations! When you have felt this dynamic, this duality of the ego upon a specific data point, value, or belief, you have officially defined a core FI value of the cognitive functions in Carl Jung's system. I don't think you were expecting this, were you? So this attachment of this color to this color, yep, that's an FI value. Kind of cool, huh? So is the ego the same as an FI value? No. An FI value is either a singular data point all the way up to a potential entire belief system that is used as a metric of the individual to navigate life. So sure, it starts as simple and basic here, like this color to that color, but can also be something like family, religion, law, ethics, and or morality. The ego is like a wall that guards the FI value. Do you need to understand your FI values to understand ego? No. But You do need to understand your ego to get to your FI values. Very often we don't know what our values are until they are tested. And to be tested, it means they have to be stressed. And to be stressed means, well, you have to figure out what upsets you. The color example is a very rudimentary example that's easy to see. But the creation of the FI value is the same, no matter how complex the process is. It just gets a little convoluted when you start adding more thoughts and emotions to it. You can get FI nestled within FI, nestled within FI in multiple layers, and at each wall you'll have your ego preventing you from actually changing. It can get very complicated. Are you spiritual and believe in God and Jesus Christ? Why don't you just stop? Believe in something else. Or vice versa. Are you atheist? Why don't you just believe in God? Many atheists want to believe in God. Why don't you? But it goes beyond that. What would your friends think? Your family? Society? How would you change? How would you be different? There are layers upon layers of reasons, beliefs, theorems, and calculations on why you believe certain things. But even on the grand scale in the conscious layer, every emotion will have that same core driver in the instinctual layer: pleasure and pain. Now you don't have to scour the internet trying to figure out what FI actually means and what values actually are. My definition of values from this knowledge would be the beliefs and principles of an individual that motivate and inspire them to be the best individuals they aspire to be. Or a belief or principle that the individual refuses to change despite outside knowledge or awareness contradicting that said principle. Or, oversimplified, the creation of beliefs by the core emotions of pleasure and pain. This is why FI is the deepest and first function. It didn't require thought or sensation, only the recognition of thing good, go, thing bad, stop. Now, one last important note to make mention of is that the strength of the FI value is entirely dependent on the strength of the egoic response. The stronger the ego has attached to a concept, the stronger the FI value. The strength of the ego is determined by three main things. 1. Depth. For example, this color example lies in the abstract to instinctual layer. The deeper the layer, the harder it is to consciously change the belief system. The less necessary it is, the more thoughts and emotions are placed on top, and therefore harder it is to change. Unless all of society decides to change the name of this color, you're probably not going to change it either. And if all of society does decide to change this color's name, it wouldn't be worth the energy to go against it. 2. Attachment. The resistance to change creates a painful sensation. The stronger the emotional attachment to the concept, the harder it is to change. The more instant and abrupt the pain, the more this attachment is stressed, and the stronger the emotional resistance to change. Once this happens, we can then better assume the strength of the ego and identify it when it blows up. In short, if someone gets upset, the faster they get upset and the bigger the explosion, the more the ego is guarding the FI value. 3. Conglomeration. All points are connected to other points in our belief systems. So it's possible that a single point may not have a strong emotion, but several points connected together with a unified purpose under a specific banner can create a strong ego. Congratulations, you may have a strong TI framework of logic. If you want to find the FI value of an individual, you have to find the core reason of why an individual believes in a specific framework. And that core reason is going to be emotional, not logical. Remember, emotions come before logic. At its very core, that belief isn't going to make sense. The logic is going to break down, and the reason will become, I believe in this concept simply because I do, and someone told me it was right. As a final note, always remember, having a strong ego or a big ego isn't automatically bad. The ego is a tool, not an enemy. It keeps us safe and strong. Since it's a tool, how bad it is entirely determined by how you use it. How much is your ego damaging others? And how much is it damaging you? If it's not doing either, why should you change? Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this was helpful. Keep being awesome.